I was young, what was it you wanted to be when you were young, by the way?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a secretary. How bad is that? Just, yeah, because my mum was a secretary, and that's, I suppose, when I was at school, that was like the only real kind of aspiration that I had. I didn't really sort of have a thought that I was going to do anything outside of that, to be honest.
Nice. And was there anything else that motivated you towards wanting to be a secretary, other than your mum?
I think it was just that element of communication, wanting to communicate with people. So ultimately I ended up in PR and marketing, which is, I suppose, an extension of that.
More luxurious kind of stuff,
Yeah.
isn't it? And did you ever pretend to be a secretary?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I used to have an old phone that my parents had bought but didn't have fitted, and I'd have that at the top of the stairs and my friend at the bottom of the stairs and pretend to be answering the phone. Like I worked in an office or something.
Was there a certain person who you would be answering the phone for, or would it be for your others?
It was more kind of being a kind of receptionist.
Yeah. So what did you imagine it would be like being a secretary when you were younger?
I suppose I imagined it would be quite glamorous and sort of hanging out in offices and all that kind of thing. I think when you're a kid, if it's shiny and glassy, it's something very different to your home environment. So.
Yeah, definitely. And did you take any steps towards being a secretary when you were younger?
So at school it was all, yeah, and I suppose all my options I did all the shorthand and typing and all that kind of thing at school, so I excelled at all that stuff because I was interested in it. And then when the options came along, I did think, well, I might go to college and so on, but was encouraged, it was sort of, when I left school, it was like, that Margaret Thatcher time, and I was encouraged into going into onto a YTS scheme, I suppose, they've had apprenticeships and then it's evolved into other things, and so this was a sort of format that was happening in the mid-80s, so I did that and I went on to a YTS scheme, which was 2 years, and I so did my further qualifications on a day release, and also I did night school as well.
Yeah. And so given everything that you know now, what advice would you give to your younger self?
My younger self would be to have much higher aspirations, really. I suppose, yeah, the way people view opportunities these days is like, with the advent of the internet and all that kind of thing, the world's our oyster. And so I feel like for those people it's like almost narrowing it down, whereas when I was growing up, if you weren't, you didn't grow up in an affluent area and you didn't have parents who were wealthy, then your options were very limited, and it's only when you kind of you move into that, you sort of get to the peak of what you thought you were going to do, and by the time you sort of 22, 23, it's like, oh, right, so there's other things that I can do. And that's when I sort of went back to university, or went to university and studied for marketing diploma and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think, when I came out of education when I was 16, it was almost the opposite of where people are now, really.
Yeah. I think it's a really common trend that as well, what's happened, yeah.
Yeah.
So can you tell us your name and what is it that you're doing now? And feel free to say the name of your company as well.
Okay, my name is Justine Gwynn, and the company is Just PR and Marketing. It's a niche consultancy operating in the built environment sector, so serving the property, construction and regeneration community. And I offer a bespoke service to clients, whether from the public sector or the private sector, on projects, or whether it's positioning them corporately. So I just build the service around those organisations, whether it's public affairs or media relations or promotion or marketing material, all that kind of stuff. Basically, it's just a strategic marketing service.
Great, it's going well.
Yes, good. Thank you.
So what made you kind of touched on this a little bit before, but what made you change direction in life?
So it was really that I'd sort of, I was PA to the managing director and the finance director, and then it would only be sort of moving into different organisations with working for slightly more powerful people, and there was an opportunity in the company that I worked for, a property developer, and the in-house marketing role came up, although they didn't always have a full marketing department as such. It was really looked after fairly informally. And the lady that was looking after it went on to maternity leave, and I'd always had an interest in that from my other roles. So I asked could I cover the marketing function whilst she was away, but my boss at the time was like, oh, I don't really want to lose you, so I dropped the finance team and just did the marketing role alongside the PA to the MD, and then the lady didn't come back, so they were advertising the role, so I applied for it and I got it, and I built that department, that function really from nothing. It was just a bit of a photo library, and so yeah, I really made it my own. So I ran that for about 5 years, the national marketing function for that developer, and they had some really interesting projects on it. So, the quayside in Newcastle, the town centre in Durham, so lots of regeneration projects in partnership with the public sector. So that was really a really good grounding, and a lot of the people that were directors at that company went on to work in public sector organisations, and so my contact base was really deep and wide. So and certainly in PR, some of it is who you know as well as what you know. And then I went on from there. I was approached by a lady who'd been a PR consultant to me when I was in-house marketing, to say did I fancy a job in consultancy, and at that point I decided that I was going off travelling for a few months. So I planned 12 months, but I was offered a job before I went, so I only managed 3.5. But because I've been working from being 16, I just wanted to escape from parent, all the stuff that people do when they're young. I was like the oldest lady, so I was 32, like hanging out with all the students who were travelling, which was amazing. It was great fun, but I came back and took up a role in a PR agency, again, a specialist built environment PR agency that was acting for some quite high-profile clients like Tesco and the British Urban Regeneration Association, the North West Regional Development Agency, Peel Holdings, which is a big developer in the region. So that was great. I was there about 6 years and ended up running the Manchester office for that organisation, and they were taken over by an international company, which was an interesting change, because it had been a family-owned business, but having come from a PLC into a family-owned business and then back into a PLC, I just thought, not sure this is for me now. So that's when I decided to set up on my own and kind of bring the marketing and the PR together, so that I felt that I had a unique offer for the market with that experience. So I've been working for myself now about 10 years, which has been great. But in the midst of it, I set up at the beginning of the recession, so it was fairly challenging. But sort of 2012 onwards, it's been growing at a steady rate, and I had a chap come and work for me. And at the moment, I'm working with a business mentor to think about, well, what do I want to get out of the business, rather than, because I think as a business owner, some of the time you're just driven by what's happening and the activity that's there in front of you. So this summer I've sort of taken a step back and thought quite carefully about what I want out of it personally. Also, I want to make some money before I get too old to enjoy it. So
it's a fascinating journey.
Yeah. Well,
so
whilst that's not the main motivator personally, it's one element of it. So
yeah. So what advice would you give to parents to enable their children to fulfil their dreams?
I think it's It's just really being supportive and also encouraging them to work really hard, because I'm from a totally different generation to people coming out of full-time education now, and I think sometimes their expectations are much higher than perhaps mine were, and I was just very focused and knew that I just had to work really, really hard to get anywhere, and was willing to do that for a long period of time. And I think there is a bit of everybody wants things now, so that would be my advice, to just work hard and accept that you have to start from the base level and work your way up.
Of course, yeah. Thank you very much for that. That was great. Cheers.